extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about one-sided news stories
Plaguing our country.
The sharing of biased and false news has
been really dangerous to our democracy.
What's going on? What's going on? All right, you know what time it is. You know what rhyme it is. I'm your gracious host, A6. We're live in direct, live in effect. It is Sunday, and the wind is whipping out here on the East Coast, man. Um, it wasn't like super cold, but it was like one of those type of things where the wind dropped the temperature. So, that wind comes through, and it'll give you like a 3 degrees off whatever temperature is, maybe even 4, depending on how hard the wind is whipping in your area. But it's one of them type situations. But yeah, overall, it wasn't too bad this weekend. We had a little bit of rain. You know what I'm talking about? Saturday, but Sunday was pretty clear. So all good, man. What's up with y'all, man? What's going on? We got in the chat. My man Civic Makeup in here. What's good, Civic Maker? What's going on? Slim Shady in the house. What up? What up? Alfonso Morales. What's good, man? He trying to beat your perfect attendance, Civic Maker. Alfonso on your heels, man. What's up with you guys, man? How y'all feeling today? Got my my lemon water with some vitamins in it. I had a chance to try some pomegranate. The first time I ever had pomegranate, the actual fruit. Like I've had the drinks and the foods and all kinds of different treats and stuff that are pomegranate flavored. But for the first time I actually tried the pomegranate, it was pretty good. It's pretty good. I didn't know how to eat the damn thing at first. So like when I it was cracked open, I just bit the whole thing like a barbarian. I look like what is it? What's his name? Turles off of the Tree of Might on Dragon Ball Z. By the way, man, Akira Toriyama passed, man, this week. Crazy, man. Rest in peace, Akira Toriyama, man. Man, that dude played a huge part of my childhood. Like we were Dragon Ball Z fanatics back in the day. That's all we watched, man. We would come home. We had this whole thing when we got out of school, and this was probably like I think I was in like ninth and 10th grade or something like that. We would come home and we would watch Dragon Ball Z. It would come on right after school. and we would watch. I think it came on like 3:30 or something like that, or maybe even 3:45 or something. I don't remember exactly what time it was. But Dragon Ball Z would come on. We would watch that, and then they had the Toonami joint where they would show other anime. I think they had Tenchi Muyo. Uh, uh, was it Gundam Wing? I think the other one was Gundam Wing. But there, yeah, there's a few good animes they had right around that time. But Dragon Ball Z was always one of the ones that really, resonated with me and a lot of people I grew up with. Man, we would talk about what happened in school after we watched the episode. So Dragon Ball Z is very interesting because some of the things that the Saiyans and the other guys are able to do, highly related to chakras and things like that. There's even some stories that basically say once upon a time when all of our chakras were fully aligned and we didn't have to deal with any of these poisons and stuff, and the food we were eating was clean. We were able to do things uh, that you wouldn't actually think you would think is in a comic book. And they were like, "Yo, what do you think the comic books and stuff came from?" It comes from a lot of that things we used to do in history. You know, there's even some mystery surrounding the monks. If you look at some of the folklore and things like that about the Tibetan monks in the mountains, and Tibet is very interesting because I think Tibet is surrounded by China, and like that one little mountain or town is surrounded, but you got to go through China to get to Tibet. So the interesting thing about it is the monks. A lot of times they've been known to do levitation, teleportation as well. These are things that the monks are able to do that we would think is just in comic books. These are things we see X-Men do in the comic books. Goku and Vegeta and all those dudes using hyper speed movement and all that. But when you go to areas like that that is supposed to be the high point of the chosen area of the planet, they're able to do things of this nature, and it all comes down to diet as well. Meditation, diet, a strict fast. Um, I even think them not having hair has something to do with it. If you guys watch, there's a show called, I think, was it MythBusters? I can't remember what show it was, but they actually took these monks. They would take their hands and they would put it in these hot coals. I mean, these coals were like literally sweltering, and they would just put their hands in the coals and they were hard in their fists. So they did like a lot of mental training. They would walk across coals as well. They could walk across sand and not leave footprints. I mean, these are all things that seem supernatural, but when the chakras are aligned a certain kind of way, there are things that you're able to do that you wouldn't be able to do. Even as simple as a karate class or even like a kickboxing class. You know what I'm saying? Um, you can take like a woman who's I've actually sparred with a woman when I was doing kickboxing. I think she couldn't have been more than uh 135 pounds. And she might have been like 5'7". She wasn't very heavy. Um, she wasn't very muscular. She was very in shape. And I remember she kicked me in my what did she kick me? I think she kicked me in the side because I wasn't taking it that serious. But she like kicked me right here. And I was like, yo, I gotta actually guard. Yo, that actually kind of stung a little bit. So you constantly practice and train your body, and you develop those breathing techniques, man. Key and all of that stuff is 100% real. All living things, I believe, have key. You know what I mean? Have like a energy of sorts. So they tell us a lot of times in these animes and these comic books, things that seem unreal, but these are actually things that are not too far fetched from the truth. Alfonso said, "I'm coming for the crown." You better watch yourself, Civic Maker. You on your heels, man. What up, Eric? Was good. I used to drink half gallon of fresh pomegranate daily when I was living in Cali. That's what's up, man. Yeah, they say there's only a few places that pomegranate can grow at. It's a tropical fruit. But yo, let me tell you, it's refreshing, man. It looks like popcorn kernels. Like when you peel it back and you see like they're like ruby red little, almost like crystals, if you would, but they look like popcorn kernels. And you bite into one, you get a burst of juice and flavor. It's pretty refreshing. You know what I'm saying? I like them. And then I had some dragon fruit too. And fruit is very peculiar looking. I had the yellow and the red. The red is more bitter, and the yellow one's more sweet. It tastes a little bit like earth, but it's actually pretty refreshing as well. Both very juicy. You know what I'm saying? Good stuff, man. Very good for you. It's also been said that the seeds in pomegranate have a lot of health benefits too. Whenever you eat fruits, you're supposed to also eat the seed, even for something like watermelon and all that stuff. Like, when I get a watermelon, don't hand me none of that seedless crap. I don't want that. You get me a seedless watermelon, it's going to sit there because I'm not eating it. Now, I want to. Why would you eat a seedless watermelon? That don't even seem real. That's been genetically modified. Give me one with the black seeds and the white seeds in it, man. I'll just go ahead and eat the black seeds whole. And the black seeds actually contain a fair amount of zinc. They're very good for men in their testosterone too. You know what I'm saying? And not to mention the watermelons are extremely, like, you eat a watermelon, it's nothing. It's like 90% juice for real. You know what I'm saying? Very hydrating. I even read an article that basically has said when you drink water, you're not really hydrating yourself properly. Like, you might be kind of hydrating yourself depending on what water you drink, but you're gonna get most of your hydration from your fruit. You know, Morris, what up? Sour taste and the comb is better. Good pomegranate. What's good out? Mr. Gutra, what's good? How you feeling? How you feeling? Naturally sour. Word. What up, Tony? We got Tony in the house. Yeah, the red one was bitter, but the yellow one wasn't. The yellow one was kind of sweet. Yeah, I would eat both of them again though, man. It was pretty good. Just trying different. There's a lot of different fruits that we don't have. Even sour sop, they don't even. You can't even buy sour sop here from the market. You got to get it from like some guy on the corner with like the trench coat on. You got to go to like down in the hood and go to a corner with a guy with a trench coat and one of them black hats pulled real low. And I got the stuff, and he opens his jacket and he's got some sour sop. You can't even buy it from the store. It's been said that soursop has some very interesting properties I cannot talk about on YouTube because they will pull the video because they'll say medical information, misinformation, or something like that. You know how they do me. They've been hitting me over the head lately. So I told you I need to get on that Patreon, man. Jump in the Telegram group. I'll put the Patreon link in the Telegram group, or you can just email me for the Patreon, and we can chop game unedited on there. But some stuff I just can't say on here. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, so that soursop has some very interesting capabilities, or some good side effects when you eat it. Not to mention it tastes really good too. Seed is life, 100%. There's so much fun to eat, and dragon fruit, awesome. Passion fruit is also awesome too. I haven't had passion fruit yet. I want to try it though. I haven't had passion fruit. I haven't had that yet. I think calamansi. It's like a small lime or something like that. I remember when I went to Philippines last year. They don't have the big limes we have here. You know what I'm saying? They got these little tiny limes, and the crazy thing about them is, like, if you get a Sprite or something, they'll actually put that tiny little calamansi inside the Sprite. And let alone that Sprite is everything over there is way less sweet. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get a Coca-Cola or something like that, or a Sprite, there is hardly no sugar in it, and it tastes better. It's a weird thing, you know what I'm saying? It tastes more refreshing. There's not anywhere as much sugar in those beverages as they are over here. And then when you go ahead and you add that calamansi, it's got more flavor too than a regular lime does here, and it's smaller. It's very interesting. The food we have over here has been cut so many times, it's ridiculous. All in the name of profit. What up, Sage? What's good? What's good? What up, King? How you feeling? Dragon fruit, good antioxidants, good pee cleanser. You pee blue. Really interesting. I never noticed that. I haven't noticed that yet. Yeah, I got to get on sea. I actually have had sea moss before. There's a stand not too far from here that sells it. The stuff is expensive though. Like, for one can of sea moss, you're gonna spend almost $40. You know what I'm saying? One jar of sea moss, and you got to hurry up and eat it because you can't leave it in the refrigerator too long because it will go bad. But yeah, that stuff has got a whole lot of vitamins that you don't get every day in it. Extremely healthy. A boost of energy. Sebby went hard in the paint talking about, yeah. See, listen. Moss got real popular right around the time before he passed. I remember, like when that Moss really hit the streets like that, and people started to figure out the capabilities it had a high demand. You know what I'm saying? It was a very high demand for that Moss. And that's why part of the reason it's so expensive. Hundreds, my housemate worked a fruit farm in Hawaii for 4 months 2 years ago. You should have seen what she brought back. Interesting. That's interesting. Also, so listen, also some of those mushrooms they have too, man. Some of those mushrooms they have over there, very, very interesting as well. Some of those mushrooms they got, um, they have mushrooms that can completely replace your meat. Like if you take, I can't remember what kind of mushroom it is. I should remember that. I think we might have covered that before. But there's actually a mushroom you can get, and it can be prepared just like a steak. And when you cut into it, it looks like a steak, and it also tastes like a steak if you prepare it right. You won't even remember that you are not eating a steak for real. You know. But yeah, these things they can replace your meats. There it is. Reishi. He knows what I'm talking about. Reishi. What up, Jay? Ugo, what up? How you feeling, man? Good to have you here. You said truffle. All right, you said truffle, and he said reishi. Which one is it? Sea moss, blue green algae, spirulina, and wheatgrass for the greens. Okay. Listen, portobello mushrooms is the go-to because, like here in the states, we don't have like really exotic mushrooms. If you go to like a really exotic import spot, like we got a spot called H Mart in Maryland, and it's like a Asian spot. A lot of Latinos go there too, though, for real. But it's those import spots, and they'll import these giant mushrooms. The portobellos are the go-to at regular markets. You know what I'm saying? If you go there, you can get some pretty good portobellos. But H Mart, you can get some exotic mushrooms from there. Shiitake mushrooms is one. I like shiitake mushrooms when they're prepared properly too, man. The mushrooms, oh, don't sleep on mushrooms, man. So it always blew my mind how some people don't like mushrooms. I always thought they was fire, even when I was little. What up, Eric? What's good? Reishi isn't the mushroom you were talking about, but okay. Lion's mane, pearl powder. What you talking about, bro? What is that? What's lion's mane pearl powder? That sounds interesting. Is that the one that's like a steak truffle? Truffle is about $1,000. I think that's the one he's talking about. That's the one that's supposed to replace steak, I believe. You know, I had a one time. I remember one time I had a real good. It wasn't a mushroom, but it was a wagyu steak. I went to Las Vegas. This was probably about 4 years ago now. I went to Las Vegas and they had we went to this one, what was that? It's like a five, it's supposed to be a 5-star spot. But it was that chef that is always yelling at people. That dude, I don't watch his show, so but I do see the memes and stuff. But we went to his steakhouse, and let me tell you something. I was underwhelmed. It wasn't that great. Like this place is supposed to be the business, and like I was underwhelmed by how average the food was. But I asked the waiter, I was like, "Oh, what is the best cut of steak you guys have here?" So he says, "We have something called wagyu." I said, "What is that?" He said, "Wagyu is basically like it's a step up from Kobe beef. You know, the Kobe beef that's prepared in Japan, where the cows are treated like royalty. Like they'll have the cows listening to classical music, and they'll be rubbing the cows down, and they'll put some beer in their food, and a very low stress environment. And out of nowhere, they just smack them upside the head. They never even see it coming, and it keeps the meat supposedly keeps the meat real tender, and the spirit on the meat is a little different too, a little lighter, if you would. So I actually tried some of the wagyu steak, and it was pretty good. But they charge you like $150 for like 4 small cuts. Like, bro, I'm not paying that. Like $150 for 4 little small cuts of wagyu. I'm good, son. And it's crazy because now you see like restaurants, fast food restaurants, trying to say that they got wagyu burgers. Man, if you don't get up the street with that nonsense, a real wagyu burger wouldn't even be eligible to be fast food. You know what I'm saying? By the time you go ahead and prepared and everything like that, true wagyu, that burger is gonna be worth about probably $5,000 for a nice solid piece of meat. You know, it take good dogs to sniff out the truffle mushroom. So yeah, is that illegal? Is the truffle mushroom not to be imported here? Lion's mane mushroom, okay. See, y'all throwing all different kinds of mushrooms I ain't never heard of. Paul Stamets is the goat on mushroom science. Paul Stamets? Paul Stamets? I'm going to write that up. Yeah, some of those mushrooms can do different things too. Some of which we cannot discuss here, of course. Does he have a YouTube? I'm going to try to look into that. Mushroom fungi. And some people say, yo, mushrooms are disgusting. Yeah, whatever. Don't eat them then. More for me. I mess with them. King oyster mushrooms are much like meat. See that? No, that we can't. I can't find that here. I'm not sure where you got to go to get that. It's in the superfood group. Really, lion's mane mushroom. Now you're gonna have me looking for lion's mane mushroom. We'll look for that. Like I said, man, like some of this stuff, like it's not even, anything harmful or nothing like that, but you can't buy it at the store because it's probably illegal to import. You probably have to, go somewhere and do some shady activity to get your hands on some food that you ain't supposed to have. Like, you ain't supposed to be eating that. FBI, open up. You can't eat that. What the hell? I'm just eating dinner. Lion's mane is the steak mushroom. Okay, got you. Okay. Oyster mushrooms. Haven't had those either. I would try those. Very expensive. Some go as 5,000 Italian truffle. God damn. What? That's crazy. He's also damaging for his fungi. He's also damaging for his fungi habits. Portland. You got to go to Portland to get that? Yeah, I'm not spending $5K on no damn mushroom though. That's out the question. Hey, look, you know what I'm saying? I can't do it personally. Not me. I ain't balling like that. So if one of y'all want to go ahead and next time I'm in Portland, spot a brother a truffle mushroom, I wouldn't be objectful to it. So that's what it is. But I won't be. I will not be purchasing that at all. So I'm good on that front. All right, let's go ahead and get into these videos, man. Let's chop game, man. What we talking about today? Man. All right. Now, Wolf sent me this video, and I want to talk about this because I did not know this, and it's very interesting. This did not make the news. Well, we know why it didn't make the news, but peep it out.
I've been trying to go to Easter Island for the last 10 years.
Can't get in.
Not only can you cannot get in, nobody's going to get in now because somebody went there and lit that place on fire. They burned down the majority of the moai heads. They put some type of a chemical on the moais and lit that on fire, which melted solid stone. How do you get that much fuel, first of all, on the island? It's hard to get there. How do you get the fuel there? And whatever was added to this fuel or whatever type of fuel it was, and who had the approval to bring that kind of chemical through international waters onto that island and then have the time to put it on top of the stone and then to actually light them all on fire? There's no trees on Easter Island. There's nothing to keep the flames going. So if somebody manually had to go and burn all these heads. So now with that being destroyed, and my biggest dream was, I've been trying to go to Easter Island.
Yeah, so this is odd because they said nothing about this. First off, who the hell is destroying stuff over there at Easter Island? You know what I'm saying? The giant heads. Remember, we used to play the Super Mario games back in the day. In the background, they had the giant heads. You know what I'm saying? And it's been said that the heads, they're not just the heads, though. They extend all the way in the ground. There's also feet, too. You know what I'm saying? And these things are like hundreds of feet, or I don't know how many feet exactly, to be honest. But they're pretty much like a lot of feet tall, whatever. I don't even know how to explain basically what I'm saying because I don't know exactly how tall they are, but they're tall as hell. We'll put it that way. So apparently, somebody's burnt them damn things up. So what's really going on with that? Who has heard about that? And why isn't this being talked about by anybody? No, let alone the news. We know the news is not going to talk about it, but why isn't anybody that's in the awakened community talking about this? Because this is the first time I've heard about it. When exactly did this happen? You know what I'm saying? My man brings up a good point too. How did somebody get that kind of chemical to burn those stones up without like burning anything around it? Like you look at the grass is intact 100%. But it looks like something was put on top of the stones to burn them and melt the stones. So what's really good with that? There are grow bags for mushrooms, but you have to control the environment. Yeah, I know about grow bags. I know about those. Mushroom powders are very powerful supplements. Everyone should be taking lion's mane. Yeah, yeah. This, I know about the supplements. I do know about the supplements. It just makes me wonder how much of it is authentic, though. You know, what's going on, Miss Small? You said you heard about it. Okay, okay. I've heard of that a few weeks ago. Same video. Yeah, this is the first time I've heard about it. So, what is the significance of destroying the stones, though? That's supposed to be a historical statue. What exactly is going on with that? You know, I always thought that the stones were protected by like some kind of code in this reality or something like that. Same reason nobody's destroyed the pyramids. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's destroyed uh any of the ancient statues or fixtures or anything like that. Why is that? That's what I'm trying to figure out. That makes absolutely no sense. What kind of significance would that have? And then, yo, check it out. They're not allowed if they're not allowed to take those kind of chemicals on international waters, like my man said. What if they use some kind of aircraft to do it? Like, what if there's some kind of special aircraft that they use to do this for whatever purpose? Who knows? Maybe it wasn't a chemical put on it directly. Maybe it was some kind of military aircraft or something like that that was put in play to use to destroy those things. You know what I'm saying? What if that was the case? That's the only thing I can think of that they'd be able to get away with. And the governments would have had to been in on it. So you would have had to have the islands or the country nearby agree to have that particular situation take place and be fully aware of what was going on. I even seen in Texas after the before the wildfires took place, there's supposedly like a laser that beamed down from like a green laser beamed down from the sky and like went horizontal and then like disappeared. And then after that, there was supposed to be some wildfires. I believe this was in Texas. Yo, what are we talking? What's really going on here? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Same shit they used in Maui. Listen, now we talking. You knew where I was getting at. You knew where I was going with that. It's gotta be some kind of aircraft or something that they're using, man. Some kind of military top secret aircraft or something. Remember that movie Nope, where the clouds were actually the aircrafts in disguise. You know what I'm saying? And supposedly, the aircraft was like a living being. It wasn't like just a piece of machinery. It was a living being. This was in a movie anyway. I'm just talking about the movie at this point. But yeah, just throwing stuff out there, man. What is the significance of that? But yeah, my man made a great point. So like, yo, if you want all of your stuff to be good money, throw a blue tarp over it and call it a day. Joe Biden even said multiple times in speeches that roofs were the right color so they didn't get touched. And he changes the subject of what his music goes anyway. He knew exactly what he was saying. Listen, I'll go as far as to even say Joe Biden is not even really like uh having a mental malfunction. This dude's probably acting for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, these dudes strike me as actors. If you ever hear his speech where he was talking about spaghetti, that's one of the funniest things I've heard this dude say. It just sounded ridiculous. What's worth is infrared lasers. Yep. Hey, I believe it's one and the same though, Black. To be honest, I don't think it's no difference, man. Hit the like button. Yes, indeed. Hit the like button, Ray. Everybody hit the like button. True indeed. But yo, what's really happening, man? I never even thought about going to East Tar Island, to be honest. But now that we're talking about it, we need to know what's going on. So we need answers. So anybody who has any information on that, please forward it to me instantly. Move on to the next one, shall we?
There's not everyone has a soul in them. There's a lot of autopiloted individuals on the planet. These are NPCs. And only 10% of the population is actually conscious. And the rest of them they're there so you can have a good experience. And if you play a video game that doesn't have many, let's say you play Mario, but there's no Goombas and there's no turtles and there's no Bowser, it's boring, right? There needs to be these obstacles and challenges in life, and these are the NPCs. I kind of forgot your question. I apologize.
Oh, it's all good. We'll just move on. NPCs, by the way, stand for non-player character. And so, what do you think drives like their consciousness? Do they even have a soul attached to them, or is it just like they're just an autopilot?
They're on autopilot, but there's a little fragment of soul in each of them. So this is where this story of from the beginning kind of goes. The Smith runs them. They're part of the Smith. And they are members of collective consciousnesses. So, for example, there's probably a lot of scientists here, curious people. All the scientists on the planet are in one collective consciousness. They're all interested in gathering the information and putting it to use to advance humanity in a way. That they all have one agenda. But there's several collective consciousnesses on the planet, and the Anunnaki.
So it's like we've been saying, you know what I'm saying? The theory we had is 100% what they're talking about. The non-playable characters, you know, the simulation theory. We're coming back to the simulation theory. You know, where everything isn't exactly what it seems. And this is pretty much a situation where, like, yo, it could be like a test. You know, we could have elected to come in. This could be an online, yo, this all could be a giant online game. And you know, the people that aren't NPCs and are the cognitive people could be just players in the game. Who knows, man? It's a very interesting theory, though. Like, did y'all ever watch how people move around on the highway and stuff like that? Or when people are walking around in public? And we talked about the Dicenian glass too, which plays into the simulation theory and the NPC theory. Because when that dude took that Dicenian glass and he started to look at certain people when he went in public, he noticed some people didn't have the aura. You know what I'm talking about? Some people didn't have that aura around them, like that aura of them having a soul. They just like were just looking at something in night vision, basically. They just look regular. You know what I'm saying? That's what they were saying with that Dicenian glass, and that's why they outlawed it. They came and took his Dicenian glass and took all his paperwork and stuff on after he put that book out. Which I'm about to get to that book too. I got the book here. I got to get to it. I'm gonna get to that book. But yeah, so you know this all plays into that factor, you know, of the simulation theory. And I just get curious from time to time, like, yo, who is actually an NPC? Did y'all ever ask somebody if they're an NPC? Like, just straight up ask, like, yo, are you an NPC? Yeah, I've noticed a lot of people will not give you a straight answer. They won't say no, but they'll make a joke about it and laugh and then change the subject. You know, some people will say, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? That's the crazy part about it. Like, if it was not that serious, why not just say, no, I'm not? You even say, yo, you still didn't answer the question. And they'll be like, they never answer you. Hey, hilarious to me. You know what I'm saying? Very, very little now. Surprise after 2020, very little surprises me now, man. Like it's you know, when I see stuff, I might raise an eyebrow, like, oh, that's interesting, you know, but I won't be like, what the nah, it ain't even really like that anymore, you know. Crazy. But yeah, the whole NPC theory, man, that's a very interesting factor. You know, and it kind of makes you wonder, like, if you out there and you dealing with like these public officials, it makes you wonder which one of them are actually living souls and which aren't. Which was what the Matrix was about. Who you think the agents were? You know what I'm saying? The agents, that's why when the agents were able to turn into the people that were still plugged in, is because those people were potentially, it was like, I think that was a symbol for them potentially turning sides and becoming agents themselves because they're still plugged in. So therefore, they're an extension of the program. You remember what happened in 2020? People that we thought was cool, man. You got to put a mask on. You're not wearing a mask. You know, you can't have a certain amount of people in your neighbor. You can't have a certain amount of people in your house. So we're going to call the police. Like stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, yo, what are y'all talking about? I thought we was cool. Nah, you thought you were cool with an NPC. But it turns out they're part of the program. So therefore, the program runs them. You know, so how close can you actually get with somebody who's still plugged in? That's the question. Now we got to get into a whole nother conversation. Now we got to talk about family members, people we knew for a long time. Again, neighbors, people we work with. Sometimes people like to drink, have drinking buddies and stuff like that. Sometimes people like to smoke cannabis with certain people. You know what I'm saying? Now we got to start talking about that, in which everything plays a factor. The Dicenian glass theory plays a factor with the matrix simulation theory, and that plays a factor with what happened in 2020. You know, how so many people we thought were Americans were actually plugged into the simulation themselves. Like, oh yeah, we need to do this and that and the third to do our part to eliminate the pandemic. Trying to watch my language. You know what I'm saying? So like, yeah, it all ties in, man. It's all connected. Everything is connected when it comes to stuff like this. And that we can even talk about people that troll. When people are talking about exercising their freedoms of the Constitution, and you got trolls in the in the comment section, that can even tie in. Like, yo, these people are part of the system as well. They'll do anything to protect it. Morpheus told Neo that. They're hopelessly reliant on the system, and some people would do anything to protect the system because they're afraid to lose it. They don't want to have to think for themselves. They don't want to think critically. They don't want to move outside of the matrix. They want to stay plugged in because it makes them feel safe. You know what I'm saying? Which is their choice. They have the freedom to do so. You know, but that's cool. If you want to do that, you can, man. But don't like try to slow people down from trying to figure out how to get out or how to navigate properly in it. But don't everybody see it the same way, I suppose. Said JB. Oh, what are you talking about? How about his introduction to Senator Booty Juice? What the hell are you talking about? Maybe I missed that. I might have missed that. I don't know. I might have missed that, buddy. He didn't have the glow right. The glow. Remember that? What was that Bruce Leroy movie, The Last Dragon? The Glow. Who's the master? So fire, man. Classic movie. Can link the video. Sounds trippy. Shoot, I already X'd it out, bruh. Hit my email. I'm sure I can send it to you. Hit my email. Books that highlight this situation are Time in the Technosphere, the Holographic Universe, and Beyond the Poles. That talks about the simulation theory too, and it talks about non-playable characters. That's interesting. Looks like I got some more books to buy. All right. Straight up. But yeah, so that's a very interesting way to view things, man. You know, you're moving through this thing, you got to basically keep in mind, like, yo, I might very well be the only living soul in this building right now, you know. But even with that kind of thought, it still takes a certain amount of responsibility, you know. You still have to carry it a certain way, and you still have to treat those who you don't 100% know. You might have clues, but you still got to treat them a certain way, you know. Because I even believe, yo, when you the way you treat the NPCs, you know, they could be connected to the system themselves. That system determines what level you might be at, or what level of consciousness you might be at. You know, whether you're at a situation where you can receive some kind of blessing or something, or some kind of positive event from the universe or whatever. It could be a situation where however you interact with those type of people is, you know, the energy you put out basically is fed right into the mainframe, and then something positive might happen to you because of how you're moving around, you know. And how many times have you done something, you know, for somebody you don't know? You might have done something like very nice, or you might have done something you don't usually do, or even if you do usually do it, you know. And it's always a situation where if you get in a certain spot, you're always able to get out. If you're one of those people that's always doing the right thing, you know. If you're one of those people who takes care of his fellow man, little stuff, saying please and thank you, holding the door extra 3 seconds when walking in for somebody else and just not letting it close on them. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that, little gestures like that can take you a long way, man. 100%. For anybody that doesn't do it, man, I challenge y'all to get out there and just start doing good stuff and watch how much it changes your mind state. Watch how much good things start coming to you when you start thinking right. Yeah, I remember one time I was dropping a customer off. This is probably over 10 or 15 years ago. I was probably, man, I had to be like 21 or something. I was young, but I wasn't a dick or nothing like that. Well, not a complete dick anyway. So when it would rain real hard, we had this spot in on Liberty Road. It was a spot where the hill met the bottom, and it was a driveway coming out, and then it was an uphill from there, but it wasn't steep, but it was enough for the water to puddle, right? So this lady's walking, and she has her raincoat on, but yo, even with a raincoat, if it's raining a whole lot, uh, it's gonna be a situation where your legs are gonna get soaked. So it's coming down like pouring, like cats and dogs raining, like for real. And she's walking past the puddle. She avoids the puddle, But yo, if you hit that puddle hard enough, anything within the next 15 feet is getting covered with water. But I slowed down because I didn't want to splash the lady. So I'm taking the customer home, and the customer like, see, you must be nice. You must be, and you better than me, because I would have soaked her. I would have splashed her. I looked at this dude like, yo, what is this guy's problem? Yo, why would you do that to somebody, man? If somebody's walking home, they obviously got it hard enough. They walking in the rain, their situation is already problematic. You're gonna accompany that with splashing them with water just to be a jerk? Like, oh, all right, cool. You know what I'm saying? Now when something happened to you or whatever, and you want to worry about why the universe is already always treating you so harsh, you know, why am I always being treated so harsh? Now you know why, because you put that energy out there. That's what I'm talking about, man. All of this stuff ties into plays a factor. But yeah, these NPCs are watching how we move, and I think they can see what level we're at when they look at us, man. They can see because when they look at me, they automatically look at me, and some people they'll look and they'll like uh their eyebrows might raise or they might look for a certain amount of time. It's like they can see what level of spirit or spiritual level you're at. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like, a guy that's super advanced and comparable to the most advanced guy in the world when it comes to spirituality, but I do have a certain set of principles that I try to live by, which I think every man should. You should have your own personal constitution in your mind. Certain things you won't do, what you put more important than other things. If you don't have one, you should start thinking about that. You should have your own constitution in your mind, for the way you move about life, you know. Start at a young age. What things did you see when you were growing up that you do not like seeing? What things do you see when you're growing up that you want to emulate or what you want to basically bend your life around, stuff like that. Question: do the NPCs ever look at you with a terrified look when you try a process? A terrified look? No. Not terrified, but I will say respect. Respect. All right. So the times I've dealt with doing processes and stuff like that, if I keep my composure and focus, because I have I have ability to be able to stay calm in some very tense situations, because of the things that I've been through in my life, and I basically learn from them. You know what I'm saying? You know, um, things that if you didn't keep your head, you might not have made it out of that joint alive. Them type of things, which anybody growing up in Baltimore has had to deal with things like that. But yeah. So for me, it's like, yo, I'm able to clearly articulate my point, and I'm not rattled at all. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yo, somebody who is applying the pressure is used to people just buckling. You know what I'm saying? Or they're used to people just like not being standing their ground or standing 10 toes down, just bending over, or they're used to people just like, yo, who's freezing up, not knowing what to say, and just saying, man, screw this, you know. But yo, nah, like for me, it's more of a respect factor. Like, yo, all right, maybe I should be cautious how I move around this dude because he usually people that don't know what they're talking about start getting a little worried or start acquiescing now. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like more of a respect factor, if you would. Not terrified though. Not terrified is not the word I would use for it, but it's like a respect. Like, yo, I'm not gonna cross this point because I have a feeling that this and people can sense it, y'all. I'm telling you, people can sense it, man. That's what I'm saying. You should have your own constitution in your mind of how you move through life. And the more positive energy you put out, the more you're gonna get. Even with like processes. That's why I say staying in honor is important. What I mean basically by staying in honor, you can stand your ground. If they call it standing on business and stuff like that, you can stand your ground 100%. But like, yo, never get into a cursing match with these with other people. You don't want to get into a shouting cursing match. Well, you mother effing mother. That's not gonna get you anywhere because now you're using curse words, and curse words are just what they sound like. You're cursing. Now you're cursing. The whole situation's been cursed. You've placed a bad veil of energy on the whole situation. So now watch that individual's temperament change. And even if somebody that's not gonna get super upset with you and start yelling back at you, let's say it's customer service. You're talking to somebody on the phone with T-Mobile or something like that. All right. you get the mother effing this, mother effing that. They might not yell back at you, might not even hang up on you. But are they going to go out of their way to help you? Probably not, because of the way you're talking to them. So just being very you could be assertive. And this goes back to what we learned in middle school. We had dare classes. Remember dare? Dare was a huge waste of money. But the one thing I will remember is in dare classes they taught us how to be assertive, how to be passive, and the whole 9 yards basically. Assertive, basically, you state what you talking about. You stand on it, and you don't use like uh accusatory language. So, for instance, a management technique, right? Boom. You got to tell an employee about something. The employee did something wrong. You got to bring it up because if you don't, it might keep happening, which could compromise the service, right? All right, so check this out. When you go up to them, try to leave out words, and this can apply to anything. This is a hack right here. All right, this is one of them self-improvement hacks. Okay. Try using language like we and us instead of you and I. You know what I'm saying? Because when you take out you and I, basically, you're controlling the situation and getting exactly what you want, but you're doing it in such a way that doesn't alert the other person. And it's not manipulation, because at the end of the day, any issue that's brought up is brought up to be resolved. So if somebody else feels differently about the situation and you feel differently, your job being of higher I'm not even going to necessarily say just intellect, but higher spiritual connection or spiritual level, your job is trying to make sure that you take as much pain out of dealing with things as you can for other people. You know what I'm saying? Unless they're completely wrong, that's a whole nother thing. Like, but there's still a way to go about that. But like you want to try to remove I and remove you, like, yo, pointing your finger and stuff like that. This happened because you don't know what the hell you're doing. Nah, like try to say, yo, the bottom line, we need to make sure this doesn't happen again. So here's what we should probably do. That sounds a lot better. People get less defensive in things. They're more open to listen. It's not a situation where people are trying to jump down your throat because y'all are both screaming at each other. Or if they start screaming at you because of the language you're using, it's a situation where nothing gets done. So there you go. It comes back to honor. That's what I mean by staying in honor. Sometimes, every once in a while, you might be dealing with an individual or being that was put on this earth. Some beings are put on this planet to just F stuff up, man. That's what it is. Some are, some are. So, like, yo, when you're dealing with them kind of mofos, you basically got to stand on your point and let it be what it is. And there might be a situation where you might need to deal with that joint later, Again, the pen is mightier than the sword. And that's what I call the pen right there. Knowing how to move and operate and stuff like that. Knowing when to stand down, what is that joint called? You gotta know when to hold them and know when to fold them. I never actually memorized any of the lyrics to that song, but that joint is relevant for real. It is. How to navigate, move, and this is something a lot of younger people can learn too. These are things I learned in my 20s. You know what I'm saying? Just how to move around and how to navigate and how to like mitigate issues. It's been problems I've had to deal with where people then came up there wanting to scrap, somebody wanted to throw hands and stuff. Majority of time when men come at you with an issue, we're able to talk it out as long as that individual is going to listen to you. We're able to talk the situation out. Sometimes with women, no disrespect to my women out there listening, I love y'all to death, but sometimes you gotta be a little more patient, because women, it might be a situation where they might be more driven by emotion, that type of thing. But yeah, sometimes with women, you gotta be a little more patient. Like, women operate off of emotion mainly, men operate off logic. So when you're dealing with a woman, sometimes it's best to just listen. They might just need to vent first before you come out and say anything. You try, and then some. Listen, some men, all right, some men are raised by their moms. They ain't raised by men for the most part. Some are, and I'm not just talking about men that just their fathers aren't around, because you might still have a cousin or something like that, or uncle that you're around all the time that can still guide you the right way. So it's that male influence that basically helps a lot. So when you got a situation where you have a man, you know what I'm saying, who's acting like that, like, yo, they might call you and just be like complaining about something, and our first instinct as men is to try to problem solve. You know, they had a study where they had that the children, they put a obstacle in their way, and the boys, when they stood in front of the obstacle, crawled in front of it, because the kids were like, the children were probably about like 6 months old or something, but they were crawling at the time. So when the obstacle was in front of the boy would try to climb over the joint, or he would try to figure out a way to get it out of the way. You know, he would try to go around it or something. So he would try to problem solve. But the girl, she would start crying most of the time. And this was like, I think it was like out of 20, 15 times out of 20. The girl would start crying real loud because, yo, the boys are naturally problem solvers and the girls want to be heard. They want you to know that they're upset. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I still think that, you know, yin and yang, men and women, complete opposites, but they work well together when they're in harmony because we are opposite. You know, nobody's better than the other one. They're better at us in emotion and basically feeling out certain situations with their emotional antennas. And yo, we're better at logic. Like, yo, if something happens, you know, maybe the guy wasn't being a dick. Maybe he accidentally forgot this situation. Let's go ask him. Let's talk about it. Oh, my bad. I forgot, man. You know, it wasn't a malicious situation. But that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, things like this all play a factor. So you're dealing with a man that might be emotional, you know, and you got to be careful with men because men that are emotional are dangerous. When you have a man that's emotional and driven by emotion for whatever reason, maybe he didn't have a male figure growing up. You know, a lot of them they could be prone to violence because a man getting emotional usually ends up in him getting something to take care of the situation with. You know what I'm talking about? Whereas a woman, you know, she might bash out your windows or cut your tires or do something to your clothes or whatever, or she might just talk to you a certain kind of way or bottle it up and unleash it on you later. You know, who knows? But yeah, with men, you have to be very careful. You gotta be patient with men, though. You know, you gotta be relatively patient with men because they can turn violent with men. You know. But yes, sir, we got completely off track. What's going on, Bishop? How you feeling, man? Good to see you here. What up, Rick? Is it The Gambler? What you talking about, bro? The movie? I didn't see that movie yet. I need to watch it though. That speech about the Fortress of Solitude. That's your fortress of solitude. Any what do you say? Any mother effer knows that you get yourself the first 5 million or something, you buy yourself a Japanese Econo S box and you buy a house or something like that, a piece of land, and the rest of it you put into some 401 or something. He said something like some bond or something like that, and you live off the interest, and you know what that's called? That's called your fuck you money. Somebody wants you to do something, F you. Somebody talking about you, F you. Yeah, that dude was spitting facts though. But yeah, the song is called The Gambler. Okay, got you. Word. Yeah, I don't even remember what the song's called. I just remember the lyrics and they apply. They apply very heavily. All right, let's move on to the next video, shall we? All right, what's the government been up to? What has what is the federal government been up to, man? Oh God.
Favorite conspiracy theorist who points this kind of stuff out all the time. The feds, the people that a lot of you like to defend, the law enforcement arm of all of the rules in our country, they're at it again. They're building a list, and your name's probably on it like mine is, for things like opposing firearm restrictions, lockdowns, vaccine mandates, or support the border security. Are labeling them as domestic terrorists. Welcome to the club, folks. How did you make it onto this list? Based entirely off of your political beliefs, because you shop at Bass Pro Shop or Cabela's or purchase any type of religious books. But your bank is also helping them and doing things like this and giving those reports to the federal government so they can build a list based on the things that you buy because you swipe your card instead of paying with cash. Thankfully, someone was able to uncover this plot to build a list with our names on it. Why do they hate you so much? Because you have a different belief than the government does on how we should be able to use the land that God gave us here on this planet. Because remember, Bill Gates and the World Economic Forum want to make sure you're eating bugs by 2030. and you're now considered an extremist because you buy religious textbooks. Don't you dare go to www.redpillrocky.com and buy anything, you extremist.
Yo, I tell you, man, it just gets more weirder and weirder every damn week, bro. Yo, what the? But hey, listen, let's be honest though. How many of you are surprised at this? How many of you are surprised at this? Again, after 2020, who is really surprised that this is a thing? Somebody please tell me, because I'm not. Everybody watching this damn show right now and me are on that damn list. I'll be 90% sure if you've ever watched any of my live stream shows and talked about anything that's happened in the news, anything like that, yo, just for exercising our First Amendment and addressing our grievances with our government, you know what I'm saying? You're on some kind of list. Hey, whatever. You know, we already supposed to be on the do not detain list, right? Is what it is. If you shop at Bass Pro, if you bought a Bible or a Quran, you were on a list. Yo, what the? Yo, how crazy is that though? Ain't nobody surprised about that. Marquez said, not surprised. Listen, I'd be surprised if we weren't on it. Like, yo, what are they doing, yo? NASA said 100%. Yup, you best believe it. Not to mention the drones will hover over protests and track your phone. Yup. Yeah, yo, like that's another thing too, man. The drones and stuff like that. Those things. And yo, I remember damn, what the hell was that thing called? I had footage of it on my YouTube from a long time ago. But yeah, there was like some kind of rally they had. I think it was an alt-right rally they had in DC years ago. And I put the footage up on my YouTube. But yeah, I was at the joint and I said, yo, I bet you on every one of these buildings, they probably got somebody with binoculars watching everything that's going on. And this was years ago. Drones were out, but they weren't really out like that. You know what I'm saying? And the government wasn't well, I'm not gonna say wasn't using drones because that would just be silly. I'm gonna say the technology wasn't really known like that. And who knows? I don't know. Who knows? But I will say this though. I was like, yo, I bet you. And then on the buildings in DC, they got cameras attached to all the buildings anyway. You know, there's a mainframe database that basically controls or watches everything that happens in DC. You know, right around not too far from where the White House is. There's cameras on the corners of each of the buildings, even buildings that aren't government buildings. You know what I'm saying? There's cameras on them joints. Best believe it. I can't go into detail, but supporting and not supporting the Constitution can get you labeled an extreme. Ain't that crazy though? Ain't that crazy? That's crazy how that works, isn't it? So you got the left side who doesn't believe in the Second Amendment and doesn't, you know, we know the left get busy, yo. I will say this: the left side, the liberals, they tear stuff up. You know, all those riots and stuff like that, and people that were smashing windows and throwing Molotov cocktails all the way across the city and stuff and throwing bricks and destroying stuff. They was liberals. A lot of them dudes had pink and purple hair. They was liberals. Goddamn Antifa. When we went to the damn alt-right joint. And like, yo, Antifa was there. Yo, these motherfuckers was weird as hell, man. I was like, yo, I do not trust these dudes, yo. First off, they all had masks on, which was just odd. Why y'all all wearing masks? Second off, they all look like they probably, because you can tell by their height and their voices that they were probably early 20s, maybe like late teens or something like that. And they all had like purple, blue, you know, different colors, hair and stuff like that. And this was Antifa. So I'm looking at these dudes like, yo, why do I feel like they were paid to be here, yo? I just got the sense at the time they were, and this is before they uncovered all the stuff about George Soros. This is before that. It just didn't seem right. I'm like, yo, why y'all here, yo? As a matter of fact, who paid y'all to be here? But they wouldn't talk to us, yo. They would say like 1 or 2 word answers. They probably was in their directive. If you see anybody else there, don't say nothing. Type deal. Or don't talk to them like that. You know what I'm saying? Give 1 or 2 word answers. Ignore. You know, act like you didn't hear him. That's the kind of game they were playing, yo. But this is the stuff I be talking about, yo. A lot of these dudes be actors and they out there playing the NPCs out there playing a role, yo. That's what it is. But yeah, 100%. So those dudes, right? Those dudes that don't like the Second Amendment, don't like the freedom of speech, don't like the freedom of press, you know what I'm saying? Those dudes are on a list for not supporting the Constitution. Then you got the people who do support the Constitution and believe that the government is doing some things incorrectly on a list too. You can't lose, yo, or you can't win, rather. You can't win. If you try to avoid staying off a list, you can't win. The question is, what was his solution? I hope not voting. That drone shit is a major invasion of privacy. They have microphones and all. Oh, 100%, 100%. But yo, here's how they get around it though. Check it out. They get around it the same way they get around the traffic cameras. Back in the day, you look at 2010, you had a few red lights with cameras on them, and on the stoplight poles, cameras. Now, all over the place, they got bars that literally sit over highways that have cameras that's not even attached to a stoplight, just watching everything happen. They got around that because of the First Amendment. They say it's for the freedom of press, and anything that can be put out there in the public is or out there in the public can be recorded. This is the same way First Amendment auditors get away with doing First Amendment audits. They'll go inside of a public building and they'll get busy with the audit because the First Amendment is protected in public spaces. So they can record anything they can see in public. This is how they do it. They go in a police station. That's a public area because it's paid for with taxpayers' taxes. This is why when police lock those people up, they get arrested, or excuse me, if they get arrested, rather they get sued. You saw that one cop get grilled by that lawyer. That lawyer asked him, "Yo, if you ever got a unconstitutional order, would you follow it?" And a police officer, of course, is gonna say no. Why the hell would he say yes in front of a jury? That would just be freaking dumb. So he says, "No, I wouldn't obey an order that's unconstitutional." Okay, so if your chief told you to take a gun out right now and shoot me, would you do it? He said, "No." So why not? Because that would be unconstitutional. That'd be murder. Oh, really? So why do you think it's okay to break the Constitution and violate people's First Amendment if you don't take any unconstitutional orders? Dude couldn't answer the damn question. I was unaware I was breaking the Constitution. Oh, really? So did you swear an oath to the Constitution? Like, it just kept getting worse and worse. You know what I'm saying? That's how they do them though. But this is the loophole they use. They're able to record anything in public. The recording has gotten way out of hand. It's completely asinine at this point. You know what's even crazier though? I remember when they put those blue camera lights down in Baltimore City. And we was like, oh, yeah, they putting the blue camera lights down in Baltimore. This is probably in 2001. They putting the blue camera lights down in Baltimore City because they need to monitor crime. The crime should go down because people are worried about getting caught on them cameras. Here's the crazy part about it. They said that those cameras are automatically blacked out when they look in people's houses, but there's actually a law that says anything that can be recorded from public is recordable. So if you got your doors open or windows open or something like that, and them cameras can see in your house, that is fair game. That is fair game. And that's the crazy part about it. You can't open your freaking windows if you live in Baltimore City without having your privacy invaded. I say you get some damn tent. Tents ain't just for your car. Tents is also for your house windows. You put some tents on your house windows. That way you can still get some sun and keep your privacy. Drone swarming is pretty scary. Cameras on the Roman statue. Yep. You won't be able to tell a drone from a fly eventually. Oh, it's already like that. You best believe. Listen, again, let's go back to Dragon Ball Z. Remember when Dr. Gero came out and told them he'd been watching them for the last 10 years, or what was it, 5 years or something like that? And he gathered a bunch of data on them to create androids that were strong enough to kill him. And based on their power scales, he knew how strong they would be. And the only thing that saved them is that they went to Namek, and the fly wasn't able to follow them to Namek. So therefore, it didn't see the fights that happened on Namek, because supposedly their fights that they had withstood on Namek got them substantially stronger, and Goku went Super Saiyan. So when they came back to Earth, He had old technology. He didn't have the new codes. He had the old codes. So when he built these androids, they was too damn weak. The ones he had built. So of course he released the other two, whatever. That's a whole other conversation. But yo, bottom line is he had a little bug that was this big, little fly, and it was gathering data. When somebody got hit in the face and blood landed on the ground, the little fly would come collect the DNA. It would just get DNA samples. Somebody got exploded, DNA samples, and bring the DNA samples back to the lab, and it puts the DNA all in one form called perfect cell. That's how they made cell. That little small bug that was surveillance, basically like a drone and doing recon, was able to get all that information on them people, and was able to drop like a all the strengths and none of the weaknesses type deal. So at this rate, I don't even think we shouldn't even be spitting on the ground outside. Don't spit on the ground, yo. Spit in the toilet. I'm afraid it's only going to get worse. We all need to come together and say hell no to the tyranny. One love. Listen, what you think we doing here, Wesley? That's why we here, bro. That's why we here, man. We out here to spread the information because there is counters to it, okay? There are counters to it. There are counters to having your privacy invaded. One of the main problems people run into is they don't like their license plate being being ran. Reason being is because if you got your license plate with your driver's license and stuff like that, people got their address on the joint, they got their full name. Yo, you can put your automobiles in a business. You can put your automobiles under a business name, bro. It don't necessarily got to be your name. This is one way you can kind of shield your privacy. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like iPostal One mailboxes, stuff like that. General delivery. We talk about remedies all the time on this channel and how people can keep their privacy because we was never meant to be this public. Antifa took over Seattle. I remember. That was bad too. I remember that. I remember that when they took over that, what was it, City Hall or something like that. That was a psyop, I think, though. But still, people got caught up in that joint too because you had a lot of people down there that thought it was legit. And they ended up getting hemmed up too. I would use that on my case. What you talking about? Which one? We have tag readers and cameras when you come in and out of Calvert County. That's wild. Oh yeah, Eric. Yeah, hit my email, bro. I meant to get back to you. I couldn't find your email. Hit my email, by the way. But yeah, 100%. They got cameras. They got those all over the place. They got them in Glen Burnie, all over Anne Arundel County, certain parts of Baltimore City, Baltimore County. You know what I'm saying? All over the place, bro. All over the place. And it's all because people here are damn sleep. We trying to wake them up, yo, but you can't force. The sad part about it is you can't force people to wake up. Only thing you can do is when they start asking questions, you can have right answers for them, but you can't force them to wake up. That's the hardest part about this information. You can't force it on other people. You want to just do like a Ghost Rider and do like a pen and stare and grab them by the face and just look into their eyes and let them know what you know, but you can't. You got to wait till they like are ready to absorb the knowledge. Otherwise, you're wasting your energy. Can't tell you how much energy I wasted in 2020 trying to tell people. Nobody listened. Not nobody, but most people didn't listen. So basically, I need to purchase airspace to avoid the drone. How about that? How about that? So other ways you can do it too, but we can't. I can't say that about that on here. So the Constitution starts with "We the people," and the people made the government. Yes, they did. So the definition of federal Anderson's 1889 dictionary pertaining to a legal contract between an individual sovereignties. We are the federal government that stands over the national state constitution government. Yeah, I mean, listen, listen. The creation can never be higher than its creator. That's just bass backwards. That's one of the reasons the movie Terminator was so terrifying because the humans actually created the robots. The robots became sentient and whipped their asses. You know what I'm saying? And spanked them, and we're spanking them for a long time. So you had that one dude that said no more, and he created a resistance. Going to have to keep him. I can't say that out loud. In the pocket at all times. Even Airbnbs have hidden cams. It's just crazy now. Yeah. Yep. And I think they said the Airbnbs, that's actually legal, I think. Because It's still their house. It's still their house at the end of the day. I think allergies got me coughing. My bad, fam. But yeah, I think they said that was there's nothing they can really do about that though. It just they left them bad reviews or something. So like it is frowned upon, but at the end of the day, even when you do an Airbnb, it's still a house. Did you guys hear about the one dude who got an Airbnb and he had a little joint or whatever like that, and he ended up I think he left a bad review, and then the owner of the Airbnb sent to him in a little joint he was out with to his lady. Sent the video to his lady. Oh man, low bridge, hilarious. I get my plates made. Listen, you can do that too, man. It's just a hell of a lot of fighting. But you can definitely do that too. Non-UCC just sent mine off. Word. It has my trust name on it with trustee. Give due notice. Yeah, that's what's up. They can ping phone locations without warrants because of a loophole in the law. Yep. They do all kinds of crazy stuff, man. I did car repo for a while. Any car with the tag reader dings every plate on both sides of the street, and they send the location to a database to be sold. Yeah, that's interesting, man. Yep, that's what I'm saying though. Like, yo, there's keep your stuff private, man. The internet is literally a hive of information, yo. It's all about information. You look at Innovis and CoreLogic, ARS, LexisNexis. All of those companies are basically they're hives of data. They just want to take in data. They buy data and store it. They even give the data out to other parties too. So, you know, data is very lucrative right now. What is this? All right, cool. Let's do this then. Let's share this one real quick. Okay, not playing. Hold on, let me work some magic here. All right, here we go.
You don't care about checking out, do you? Hey, hold on. Stop. Time out. Go back there. Ma'am, do you have anything on you?
No.
Okay. Can you do me a favor? Just hang tight right here, okay?
I just shut the door.
Yeah. You can shut the door and with male officers, it's supposed to be the back of the hand. Yeah. So as soon as he did it wrong, ma'am, listen to me. Ma'am, he's a...
I'm sorry.
No. It's okay.
Just the way
He's a new officer. I'm training him. That's why.
I'm sorry. I thought only a female.
No.
I don't have anything on me.
Ma'am.
Only a female officer.
Males can search females, but we're supposed to use the back of our hand.
That's violation, right?
So that's why as soon as I saw him, I stopped him, told him to go to the back of the car. Okay. It's all being recorded. I want to let you know that. I want to reassure you of that. Okay? You okay, ma'am? Listen.
It was just I've never had nobody.
I know.
It was awkward.
As soon as I saw it, that's why I stopped him.
All right, so the rookie decided to go ahead and search a woman with the palm of his hand. Here's the crazy part about it. I was always told that when it was time for a woman to be searched, they had to call a female officer today because the men couldn't do it. Don't know if that's true in all states. According to what he's saying, that's not the case in other states. But that man basically used the palm of his hand to caress this woman. Yeah, what the hell? He said, Guthrie said the irony. Hey, yo, Truth is stranger than fiction, man. I'm not, again, this doesn't surprise me. It's just hilarious. It's freaking hilarious. Okay. That is funny. But he said the irony, the guy. What are the odds of that? But yeah, so um the state got sued for 50K. She's gonna get every penny. I would have shit, she should have went for more than that. She could have got that. They would have wanted to settle out. But yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, he ended up getting reprimanded. And for the first time, we see an officer step in and correct an individual who works for him that's not doing the right thing. That was interesting, I thought. What's even more interesting is he let it go on that long without stopping it. Like, yo, you see this guy doing that. You know what I'm saying? Why are you letting this continue? You wait until like literally probably 5 minutes into the suspicious conduct until you say something. You know, he did say something, but it was a little bit late. The violation had already taken place. Crazy, man. Okay. What part of the game is that? That's what I'm trying to figure out. But yeah, dude was completely in the wrong. DWB. What does that mean? Maybe he doesn't identify as a man. Y'all killing me out here, man. Oh man, that's hilarious. But yeah, he was completely in the wrong for that. So he gonna get hemmed up. Not sure what that was, Rick. Not sure what that was. But yeah, he was in the wrong. My man. Yeah, they're not supposed to. That reminds me of that movie, Crash. You know, what that police officer was doing, he was going bananas, you know. And the other officer stood there and watched that joint. Oh, he said, drive my plane. Word. But yeah, that reminds me of Crash where that officer was just being out of pocket when he was searching that woman. It was supposed to be a woman was supposed to search another woman when it came down to checking for weapons or anything like that. The pat down was supposed to be committed by, which is still a search. You know what I'm saying? A pat down is a search. It's a search. Like, yo, what do you look? If you're looking for something, you're searching for weapons. So you're searching for, you know what I'm saying? You're searching for something, which is basically a violation of the Fourth Amendment. You cannot freaking touch me. I'm supposed to be secure in my person, papers, and effects. You know what I'm saying? The Fourth Amendment, you cannot touch it. And shoot, you can go in the state constitution. The state constitution almost mirrors the federal constitution. Same thing. And that's basically what they under. They directly under that. Now, the state constitution is supposed to have the provisions of the federal as well, but whatever provisions it does not have, there's always a contingency in the state constitution that any of the provisions from the federal constitution stand in basically the state. As in basically saying that the federal constitution is the law of the land, per se. So they was wrong no matter what state they was in. Because all the constitutions had that provision in them, just in case they try to do some slick shit like Maryland did with the right to keep and bear arms in Maryland. They didn't put a provision in their constitution for that. But it also says, again, all the provisions from the federal constitution apply in this state and in this constitution. There you go. Rainwater, what's good? You late, Rainwater? What's up? What's up? About the tag readers for car repo, you mean like if you have Easy Pass in the car? She asked you a question, Rick. Eric Merritt, it's about time Terry V. Yeah, it's coming, yo. Terry V. Ohio got to go. Terry, listen, I don't know how that got passed. Whatever Supreme Court justice got put on that particular case was an embarrassment. Like, yo, how did you F this up this bad? So you read the Constitution and you got out of that Constitution that it was okay for people to get taken out of their cars when asked to get out of their cars by police officers. And here's the thing about Terry versus Ohio as well. The Terry stop thing was only, wait a minute, hold on. Now, Terry versus Ohio was the pat down. The Pennsylvania versus Mims was getting out of the car, I believe, right? Maybe I had it backwards. But either way, both of them are basically, and that's the only two cases that the police officers know, because that's the only ones they teach them in the academy. They don't teach them about Marbury versus Madison 1803. Any law that's repugnant to the Constitution of the United States of America is null and void, including Terry versus Ohio and including Pennsylvania versus Mims. Marbury versus Madison 1803. How about Dawes versus Kent 1958? The government does not have the right to interfere with the people's right to travel. We can go Sherrod versus Cullen. There's a whole lot of cases that get ignored for favor of Terry versus Ohio and Pennsylvania versus Mims. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy thing about it, Terry versus Ohio was based in racism. That was based in racism. A lot of that stuff, that gun control stuff, is racist. A lot of the gun control stems off of a lot of the. I'd even go as far as to say they might have been like elitists that thought that they were better than the indigenous people. You know what I'm saying? Not all of them, not all Europeans are like that. Not all Caucasians are like that. But the ones that made that motherfucking ruling, the ones that made that law, they are. We're not gonna sit up there and pretend they aren't, because that shit was mainly put in place. And I gotta watch my language. I'm getting off the chain again. that was mainly put in place basically to harass people that looked a certain way in certain communities. You know what I'm saying? That's the messed up part about it. Do a crime and have a gang of bad bitches chasing. Do a crime and have a gang of bad bitches chasing you. The hell are you talking about, man? Hell no. Tag reader like you live in Cali. Go on a trip to Texas and get dinged in New Mexico. That's crazy. Yeah, that's interesting. This is why I say, yo, you shouldn't even have your car in your name. This is what happens when you put your stuff in your name. You need to listen to what the famous elite said. Own nothing, control everything. Was the Rockefellers that said that? I need to read that book again. Own nothing, control everything. You know, I highly suggest looking into trusts. Repo company in Cali searches your tag, and company in New Mexico sells your location. Yep. There you go. You got your straw man name on there. So if you owe anything, they know exactly where you at. There's ways to stay private. They leave you loopholes. People just don't know them. There's ways to stay private, 100%. Why does it seem like this light kind of blue today? Okay. Yeah, that's a little better. But yeah, there's ways to stay private. Oh, I see like someone mentioned about taking tag reads when you enter Exeter County, for example. Yep, that's what he's talking about. If you look at over top those arches and stuff, like there'll be like a white bar, and over top of it they'll just have a camera that faces down. And sometimes the camera will be looking for like facial recognition type deal, where there's ways to deal with that too. There's actually a guy who had a very interesting shirt. He had a shirt with a bunch of faces on it, and it drove the camera crazy because it didn't know what to focus on. You can literally see like the boxes just doing like this, and it started to highlight everything around him, but it wouldn't get his face because of the shirt he had on. You know what I'm saying? There's ways to get around it though, to keep your privacy. Good thing about it is it's all done by AI. You could be casually driving on the highway and they hit your tag. Yep. Yeah, a lot of the new cars do have trackers though, Teresa. A lot of the new cars that are sold do have trackers on them. So that still is a thing. Calvert County. Yep. Yeah, they got them everywhere. They got them everywhere. If you look at the footage, it's actually really grainy though. It's not like really, really sharp, but they can zoom in. So if they pull it up, they can zoom in and clean the photo up a lot, so that they can read exactly what they're seeing. And some of that technology they have for license plate readers is straight up wicked. Like he was saying, the tow trucks got them too. So if they see a car that wasn't paid for or something, or one that's on one that's on the tow list, they'll grab it. You know, but there's ways around it. All right, we're creeping up on an hour and 30. Link is in the bottom in the comments. If anybody wants to hop on, let me see if I can catch up on these. See if I miss any comments here. It looks like we all caught up. Let me see. Let's do let's do one more video. Let's do one more video. All right, let's see what's going on in China. My bad. There we go.
Cities, ghost cities. And what I mean by ghost cities is not literal ghosts, but they're building these huge cities. No one lives there. Cities for 30, 40 million people, and no one is there. People don't understand why they're doing this. I do. Beijing is right by the sea. Shanghai is right by the sea. The sea levels are going to rise. These people got to move. These idiots in America and in Europe want to carbon tax people instead of building mega cities in Omaha, mega cities in Denver. Now you understand what Denver Airport's doing there. As soon as the age of Aquarius hits, the sea levels are going to rise.
All right, so my man is saying that the sea levels are going to rise. And the reason that I've even heard somebody say the reason that these because if you look at most of the Democratic cities, they're right on the water. And they were saying, yo, the reason why a lot of these Democratic cities are passing these unconstitutional laws and violating people's rights because they want people to damn leave the city. They don't want to just tell people, hey, it's gonna be a flood. You should probably get the hell out of here. So instead of doing that, they basically like keep turning the temperature up one notch until you say, you know what, screw this. I can't afford to live here anymore. I'm out. And you dip off. You leave New York and you go to North Carolina. You leave goddamn California and go to Texas, stuff like that. I've heard somebody say that too. And he's saying, yo, it's because the water level's rising. And the water level's supposed to flood these cities. That's interesting. I don't know about that, but that's a very interesting way to look at it 100%. Amy said tracker jammer. I suppose that's something you can get on eBay or Amazon, huh? You can literally not step foot in the state, but they will link you to that state based off your tag. How the hell is that possible? Congress talking about flat Earth. This is too good. What? Obviously for censorship. The amount of info the reroll companies have is sick. Your best friend's mom work address might be listed in your account. On your account, you would be surprised who is attached to you by your paper trail. That's crazy. Go look at naval flood maps. They've been online for years. Naval flood maps. Yeah, somebody was saying you need to. There's supposed to be like an island that's between Africa and the United States of America, and it's supposed to be a giant boulder or rock or something like that that'll cause a mean tidal wave that could span all the way across the sea and affect America if it falls in. They were saying, yo, it should fall in relatively soon. I keep hearing that, but it's a lot of times I write some of that stuff off as fear mongering because a lot of it comes off like very hey, everything's gonna be over and you're gonna be doomed. You know what I'm saying? It's doom and gloom type deal. So I pretty much look at it, but I take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, I heard about the coastal flood maps in 2003. I didn't know about those back then. Yes, indeed. Well, look, since we got nobody getting on, man, we creeping up on 140. I'm ready to get out of here, man. Thank you guys for tuning in tonight. It's been real. It is 864 National Born Natural. Jump on the Patreon. If you don't have it, join the Telegram or email me for it, and I will send you the Patreon. You can jump on and subscribe. It's only $5 a month. It's not going to break your back. And then we're going to chop up some stuff I can't really talk about on here, which I've been doing for like the last 4 weeks. Information I give up on there is crazy. Remedies and things like that I've discovered, court experience, those type things. So if y'all are interested in that, please hit my email. I'll be glad to send it to you. Jump on and we can chop game. And again, it is A6-4 National Boy National. Thank you so much. We'll be live and direct Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, God willing. I'm trying to get a young City on here from St. Anne's or St. Mary's County, I think it is. But I'm trying to get him on here too. He's a First Amendment auditor. They go around and audit different places in Maryland and all over too. So we'll see what happens. If I can get him on here, that'd be a great thing to have him on. So with that said, y'all take it easy, be safe, go out there and spread some good cheer. And remember, the path to freedom is through our bravery. Peace out.